What's happening? Welcome to On the One. My name's Cory Wong. Today we're gonna take a look at a new tune of mine that I just put out on an album with Dave Koz. This tune is called Your Side of Town, Art of Keynoise, featuring Phoebe Katis. Now, this episode of On the One is brought to you by DistroKid. That's who we used to digitally distribute this album. A lot of people have asked me about the percussion side of this song. So I wanted to break some of that down on this. Now, in order to properly do that, I want to take you back 30 years, okay? Because this album that Dave and I made, in some ways, is kind of like a celebration of 30 years of Dave being a recording artist. So I thought, okay, how cool would it be if I took a tune of Dave's from his very first album 30 years ago and produced something around it? So I used something that he recorded 30 years ago, which is this song called Art of Keynoise. Now, 30 years ago, Dave recorded this tune that's literally just sounds of him touching the saxophone. I don't know how to say that any other way than that, but here's an example. This is what the original Art of Keynoise is. That's basically it. And then there's like some other little weird noise at the end of it. Actually, I'll show you, because I use it at the end of this tune as well. That's it. That's Art of Keynoise. Just a bunch of saxophone noise, key noise, him touching his sax. Like I said, I wasn't lying. Now, I thought, okay, that's really cool. What if I use this as like a sample? If I treat this as a loop. So what I did is, because the original recording wasn't done to a click track, I actually imported it into Pro Tools, kind of nudged it around a little bit to fit on the grid, which didn't take much doing. It was just a little bit of finessing, because I didn't want to lose his time feel, because Dave has a really great time feel. And what I did is I added some more modern day Dave Koz key noise, which we recorded in this exact room. And I kind of made some loops and then just did some different things with it. All right, so that's really fun. It kind of creates now this entire percussion section literally just from the saxophone, which I thought was a really fun thing. Then the next thing I thought would be proper to add in is the bass. So in order to add bass, well, what do you play? So I decided to just write a song form. So I decided, okay, intro, there'll be a little instrumental hook, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, chorus, hook, outro. Just kind of adding with that bass drum thing. Okay, and then just outlining some harmony. Pretty simple, but really just enhancing that groove that's already there through Dave, and then kind of widening up through the pre-chorus and the chorus. Now, of course, I had to come up with some sort of chord changes and that sort of thing. I originally thought about doing something kind of bump to bump to bump to bump. Kind of something a little bit funky, but I thought actually it would be a little more interesting if the groove acted as the biggest momentum pusher within a kind of ballad feeling song. So I wanted to write something kind of sweet. I wanted to write something that was a little more, I don't know, this is the melody that I heard. So I'll just play you the guitar parts now, because the guitar is what came next. easy. So for the tone of this, what I used was the Archetype Cory Wong plugin, and I used the delay. No, I used the wash, the reverb, as you can hear, with a little bit of the shimmer in it. And I recorded this stuff into Logic, exported the tracks, and imported them into Pro Tools because I like to mix in Pro Tools. But I like the guitar tone so much, I just printed it with the plugin on. So it's just basically the default patch on the Archetype Cory Wong plugin, plus the wash, and then a little bit, just a very little bit of a Valhalla shimmer, a dark setting, stereo setting. But most of the reverb, most of that tone is coming from the reverb on the Archetype Cory Wong plugin. And then, yeah, I thought this guitar melody, so I did 3 different guitars. All right, so that's everything that I had at first. And I thought, okay, this is a pretty little outline for a tune. I'm hearing a melody, I'm hearing a song form, I'm hearing an idea and a concept of a tune. And I was thinking through this. So this is... There's something that felt very sentimental, something that felt very ballady, but something that needed to be sincere. And we wrote a lot of this, like many artists. I was writing a lot during quarantine last year. Now, I didn't really know how like quarantine songs were going to age, so I wanted something that felt a little more universal. I kind of let Phoebe run with that, and she had a really great idea for that as well. And she was thinking, okay, what if we do this, 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 this? I said, great, let's go with it, go with it, go with it. And we went back and forth on a couple little lines, but really the thing that she sent back to me, kind of her first draft, was pretty much it, which was really awesome. She's a great writer, and that was really fun to have right out of the gate. So this is what it ended up as for the verse.
Bought a ticket on the fast train home. Didn't think I'd make this trip alone. Oh hi, I'm fine. Left you waving at the exit gate. Water rolling as I walked away. Oh hi, I'm fine. But I thought we had time. Thought we'd have another night. Didn't think this was our last goodbye. Now the city streets are empty and the world is closing down. So how are things over on your side of town? Are you going crazy too? Are you going crazy? I'm just daydreaming of your side of town. And the next time I'm with you.
So I thought that was really nice. It was a really nice feeling universal, like almost as if maybe we're just too busy to see each other. That could be the interpretation 10 years from now. But right now it's pretty obvious to us what it is. But that was the idea for this song, is I wanted it to feel like, okay, it might feel really obvious for those of us that lived through 2020, but also 10 years from now to be open to a different type of interpretation of the lyric. Now, Phoebe does a lot of stacks with her vocals. So what I did is I just had her we went back and forth on a bunch of things. I said, send me your leads all in one bus, send me your backgrounds as one bus, and then all your lyric harmonies as one bus. So this is just the lead vocals, kind of all in one thing.
So how are things over on your side of town? Are you going crazy too? I'm just daydreaming of your side of town.
The thing to me that's really most magnetic about what she brings to the table is all the way that she stacks her vocals and that sort of thing. Now, to me, I thought the song is great. The song is done. We got Kaz because he is the rhythm section, and we have me represented in the writing and the producing and the guitar and bass, and we have our feature with Phoebe. But Dave was thinking like, well, my people aren't gonna like even know that I'm a part of this song. If it's like our album together, there's no saxophone. I said, Dave, you're literally the entire rhythm section. He's like, yeah, but I don't think people are gonna get it. Like, I just need more just Dave Kaz. I was like, okay. Get out your saxophone and just double my guitar part. So that's exactly what we did. I mean, come on, that's so Kaz. And there's 2 tracks because we just had 2 different mics. I didn't know which mic was gonna sound better on him. So I just used a blend of the both. And I just had him record that exact thing 3 different times. Dave was literally in and out for this song in 5 minutes. I just said, okay, Dave, double the guitar melody on this spot. He recorded it. Okay, I'm gonna punch over to this spot. Record this. Okay, next thing. Each section he just did in one take, and it just sounds so Kaz, and it sounds so great. So it was really fun to build this tune, to have Dave trust me with, yeah, sample my original tune and do whatever you want with it. And it kind of turned into this really fun, beautiful tune that shares a message of something that many of us have lived through, but also has the ability to be interpreted in a completely different way 5, 10, 30 years from now. And that's really fun to me. That to me is one of the really exciting things about writing and producing, is to do things that really mean something one way now, but leave it open enough where it can be interpreted in a completely different way 30 years from now. So taking this thing from Dave 30 years ago, his very first album, now adding all this stuff and writing a song around it, building a world around it. And then hopefully 30 years from now, maybe Dave will take this one and do something. And then 30 years from then, Dave will still be alive because he's seemingly immortal and still looks amazing for being however old he is. I can't say that on camera because Dave wouldn't like that. Hey, thanks for hanging out. This is On The One. If you're not familiar with this tune, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, all that sort of stuff. And like I said at the beginning of this episode was brought to you by DistroKid. DistroKid is who did all the digital distribution for our album and for all of my albums. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically, they're the ones who put it on Spotify and Apple Music and all the platforms, Amazon, even TikTok and those sort of things. Like, it shows up wherever you listen to music online. And the cool thing about this is that Dave and I did this as a collaborative album. And what that means is we split the finances for this. We split the financial obligation. We went 50-50 on all the costs, and we go 50-50 on the profits. DistroKid makes it very easy because they have this thing called splits, and I can just assign 50% of the income goes to Cory, 50% of the income goes to Dave. They handle all the accounting, and it's wonderful. It's great. That's one of my favorite things about DistroKid. And because you're probably wondering, well, what about Phoebe on this song? Well, we paid her a flat rate for the actual master of this, and she's cut in equally on the songwriting. So we all split the songwriting. I normally do a thing where anybody who does any amount of songwriting on the song, we just all split it together, Kind of, I guess, like Nashville style. If you're in the room while you're writing, you get an equal cut. If you're in the email thread on the songwriting on this, you're an equal cut or whatever. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time. Peace!